Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Noah from Techno Buffalo, and this is, what are we up to, maybe the third installment in this little series we're running on tips for aspiring bloggers and vloggers and tech reviewers and journalists and such. And I'm going to try, I actually shot this video a couple times a couple weeks ago and just it didn't quite come out right. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know I have a propensity to ramble on, and these are like, I'd shot like 20 minutes of me just going in circles. So I'm trying it again, trying to answer one of the questions that I get asked most, and John and everybody else I know who works in this industry, which is, how do you get the products to review? And there's not a simple answer to it, and also the answer has changed in the 10 or so years I've been doing this. I've been covering, I've been with Techno Buffalo for about 5 months now or so. Before that, I was with PhoneDog for close to 5 years, and before that, I actually worked for a website called PowerBook Central that covered Apple-related stuff. Yeah, I can hear all you out there now, like, oh, see, I told you he was a fanboy. And before that, a couple of other publications. So the answer has definitely changed over time, especially as blogs have become more popular and more people are able to publish their own stuff, whether written or video, and therefore have an audience and then approach the companies and say, hey, I want to get on your reviewers list. How do I do it? So here are a few tips I can give you that it's not a 1, 2, 3 connected dots answer, but a few tips that I think are valuable and hopefully will help. First of all, I said this before, but I'll say it again. You need to just get started. You need to just whatever you are interested in covering, if it's reviewing products, you need to find a way to start to get some products to review them without people giving them to you. So you need to buy them or borrow them, or whatever it is, or get into covering stuff that's sort of like in the ecosystem of what you want to cover. So if you want to cover smartphones and you can't find a way to get them, start covering apps, start covering cases, that kind of thing, and then build up an audience. But you have to do it yourself first. When I first started, when I was at PowerBook Central, I was writing columns, and then I started approaching companies about doing reviews, and eventually got some stuff headed my way, and then eventually a review I did on a pair of earphones got picked up by Gizmodo, and then that really helped. And so you just have to kind of keep at it. When I was at PhoneDog, I started out, I reviewed my phone, and then I borrowed a friend's phone, and then I bought a phone and sold it. And reviewed that one, and then I traded that one on Craigslist, and a couple times I bought a phone at a carrier, reviewed it, and then returned it within the 30-day trial period. So you have to just figure out ways to do that if you don't have the money, or if you're smart and you don't want to spend thousands of dollars just to get going, because you might do it for a month or two and decide you don't like it, or not build an audience, or it might lead you doing something else. So you want to try to not lay out a ton of money right off the bat if you don't have to. That being said, if you're going to buy something to review, be strategic about it and spend your money on, I would say, spend your money on something that you think is going to get a big audience. So, as much as I'm going to open it up for fanboy jokes again, there's no doubt that Apple products get a big audience. Whether love them or hate them, think they're great, think they're not, a review of the brand new whatever it is, the brand new iPhone, the brand new iPad, will get a lot of traffic on YouTube, a lot of traffic on the web. It's almost guaranteed. There's some other products that are like that as well, but not that many. So that might be a safe bet if you have a limited budget and you're going to spend money on a product. Now, when we're talking about how to get stuff for free, again, first of all, remember, we're talking about getting loaners. I'm not talking about having companies send you stuff for you to keep. That does happen once in a while, that a company will offer that. If we decide to keep something for whatever reason, we're bound by our own ethics and also now by the law to disclose that online. But the vast majority of the things that you see me reviewing, you see now on Techno Buffalo, etc., are loaners, especially in the cell phone industry. So if you want to get into that, a couple of tips. One, learn how to present yourself professionally, and I'm not talking about shaving before you go on camera. I'm talking about writing. Learn how to write a good email introducing yourself, getting to the point, saying who you are, why the people on the other end should care. Spell check it, proofread it. If you're not so sure about your writing skills, get somebody else to help you out. Really what you can do is you can write the email, the body of the email once that talks about who you are and who your audience is, and then you can just kind of use that and customize it, depending on who you're sending it to. Make sure to include traffic stats if you have an audience, if you have subscribers, if you have a website and you have good traffic, if you have a lot of Facebook followers, a lot of Twitter followers, whatever it is. If you don't have stats that you think can compete with the larger outlets, look at what makes you unique. Maybe you are the president of, the AV club at your high school, or maybe you are an independent consultant who, does technical support and advises people on what phones to buy, and you have a bunch of clients, and so you have influence that way. Whatever it is, find your unique angle and sell yourself that way. So you need to, write a good email or a couple of them, and then go to the websites of the company you're interested in, look for the press or media section, and find out, what the address is. A lot of times you'll have kind of a generic address, like press@blah-blah-blah.com or something like that. That's who you send it to. Be very cordial. Make sure to include your contact information. If you don't hear from them, within a week, let's say, follow up, but follow up politely. And don't, you can be persistent, but don't overdo it. These people get emails, tons of them a day asking for free stuff. So just be persistent, be polite, let them know you're interested in reviewing, but also say, you'd like to get on their press list. You'd like to get, more information about the products, and start that way. And that leads into the next thing, which is developing relationships with people is huge. So if somebody does send you something, make sure to say thank you. Make sure to be polite. I'm shocked in this industry. I mean, I can be a jerk sometimes, believe me, I know. But I'm shocked at how many stories I hear of people who think that, they're rude to the PR people or whoever it is on the other end, the media people, because they feel entitled. I've got a blog, so you have to give me what I want. No, we're people. Treat somebody nice, and they're more likely to treat you nicely in return. So, if somebody does send you something, even if it's just a letter saying, thank you for your interest. We can't. We have a limited number of review devices available, but we'll keep you in mind for the future. Right back to that, saying thank you. Ask them if there's anything you could do, or if it's okay if you follow up with them in a month or something like that. The next thing is, if you have the chance, go meet these people in person. If there's an event in your town, if you live near, if there's going to be a trade show, or you're able to get to something like CES or CTIA. Or if one of the larger sites is having a reader meetup, that kind of thing. A lot of the sites, have these events. There's a Gidget event in San Francisco pretty soon, near where I live. And a lot of these events, I've done some very small events, and we have sponsors. And so there'll be people from the companies, whether they're cell phone companies or accessory makers or software companies or whoever it is. And you go to these events and you can meet people. And those oftentimes are the people who, are either the media PR people or they work with those people, and then all of a sudden you've met somebody. And once you meet somebody, and it's not just an email that looks like all the other emails that you get every day, but you've actually met the person and you can remember something about them, that goes a long way. So if you have that chance, get to one of these events. Again, it doesn't have to be one of the huge shows. You can look for whatever's going on. If there are user groups related to, whether it's if it's directly what you're interested in, again, if you're interested in like cell phones and tablets, if it's directly related to that, great. But maybe it's peripheral. Maybe it's like a Flash developers group. And then through that, maybe you can meet somebody who has an association, with Adobe, because Adobe works with a lot of these cell phone makers now to put Flash on their phones. Or, maybe Google, or, who knows, maybe somebody related to Apple, whatever it is. And then the second thing, kind of with that, is back to the whole ecosystem thing. Even if you're not necessarily interested in reviewing cell phone cases and you really want to review cell phones, cell phone cases, not only do the people who make the cell phone cases often work with the cell phone makers themselves, because in order for a company like Spec to make a phone that's going to fit the new HTC Incredible 2, they have to be working with the people at HTC and Verizon to get the dimensions of the phone and get it right. So not only sometimes might those people know people who eventually you can meet, but also it's a lot cheaper and easier for a case maker to give you a $20 case to review than it is for a wireless carrier to give you, a phone that retails for $600 off contract that also has service on it. You know, like they have to, there's a different level of trust going on there, and they just have, you know, fewer of those to give out than a company might have cases to give out. So you might be able to get your foot in the door doing things like that, you know, doing coverage on the big devices, getting your hands on them when you can, reviewing them when you can, and then in the meantime doing lots of stuff like cases and apps and accessories and kind of building up an audience that way. Because once you have an audience, then you're able to say to, you know, the PR manager at, you know, whoever, Apple or Sprint or whoever it is, you're able to say, hey, look, I have this many subscribers, I have, you know, this big of a Facebook following, I've been on my local TV news as the gadget expert, you know, whatever it is. And when you have that kind of a following, then they're going to say, hey, you know, it actually would be worth one of our 100 devices to send out across the country. It'd be worth it to try one of them on this person because, you know, she's got a following on Facebook, and there's going to be a legitimate return on investment there. So, those are kind of my basic tips. Again, you know, get started any way you can, first of all. Be willing to get stuff on your own. Don't wait to start getting free stuff or loaner stuff sent to you. Find a way to do it on your own. Try not to spend your own money at the beginning. If you have to spend your own money or you want to spend your own money, be very strategic about it. Look for something that's going to get you, you know, a big high interest item. Again, you know, the Apple items right now are of huge interest. Tablets are big right now, you know, but when you're watching this video, if it's a year from now, it might be different. And then definitely the thing I didn't mention, but you have to self-promote. You know, once you get, if you get a little bit of a buzz, if something you did gets picked up. When I had that earphone review picked up by Gizmodo years and years ago, you know, I jumped on it. And that was my chance to start hitting, you know, sending emails to other companies saying, hey, I reviewed these earphones and they got a lot of buzz and they got picked up by, you know, this place and this place. I would love to check out your earphones to compare them. So, you know, do things like that, and then develop relationships with people whenever you can. Other bloggers, other vloggers, PR people, you know, go out to events, introduce yourself in person whenever you can. Have business cards when you meet people in person. Write a very professional email, follow up politely, be nice. You know, those are the best steps I can give you, and it's harder, honestly, than it was a few years ago because there's so many more bloggers and video bloggers out there who are asking for these review units. I get all the time, I get phone calls and emails from the PR people I know at these companies saying, hey, you know, do you know Jerry Smith? Because we got an email from Jerry Smith saying that he worked for you, and we couldn't find his name anywhere. There's all kinds of scams and stuff going on, and so the people who have the devices to send out are a little more, you know, they have to choose more carefully than they used to. As well they should. So there's more competition, but there's also, you know, more opportunity since blogs have become a main, you know, a big force in the media today. And believe me, the PR people take it seriously. They know that, you know, it's less is Noah going to give it a good review or not than it's what's the audience going to say. You know, the audience on whatever site it is, those are the ones who they really want to reach. They want to reach them, you know, through me, through John, through whoever. It's you guys and girls. So, anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Definitely, you know, hit us up on TechnoBuffalo on the video channel over on social media with more questions, and we'll definitely try to answer them. And I am getting John and John to participate. We're going to do, like I said, we're going to do a video on some production tips and techniques. I'm going to try to get John Q to talk about that because, you know, he's got a DLSR he shoots on. I shoot on a little camcorder, so he knows what's up way more than I do. Anyway, till next time, I'm Noah. Thanks for watching, and good luck. Just keep at it. If you love what you're doing, find a way to make it work. See you later.